아니야.
全然違う
Eh, it's not that bad. The Spin Club suits do have some of the better undead cards. This one opened with the girls rewatching a recording of their last encounter with him that just so happened to play exactly like the episode we saw.
本当にダメージを与えたのかな結構余裕そうな顔してるぜ
Yeah, he totally smiled back then, and y'all didn't just add in that frame after the fact. Yeah, don't underestimate a guy who has a video editor. Regardless, it was clear that they needed something else to take the villain out for good. Which, you know, considering he has a weakness to the cold, you could make like some sort of new ice-based weapons or techniques or...
これに対抗するには全てを包み込む力、愛の力が有効的なんだ。
Y'all just want me to use that meme, don't ya? But yeah, the prop proposed a new finisher that only sounded slightly less cheesy than the Love Love Tenkyoken. Then, as always, Kaoru's my spirit animal. Anyway, they started training to use the technique, which first involved acknowledging that hearts for eyes was just a thing. Because yeah, don't you love it when shows acknowledge that tropes just kind of exist? Anyway, not too surprisingly, Momoko had no trouble doing it, along with Miyako, cute-touching including Takaki in her thoughts. However, Kaoru was struggling a little, and she kept trying until eventually... Whoop, there goes Uranus. Also, I'm pretty sure a beam that can travel more than the diameter of the planet might be a better attack than this stupid love beam thing, but whatever, Kaoru did it eventually. Next up on the training menu was...
それは私が作ったラブソングだ。
Damn it, we already did the Sinful Gear reference. Seriously, I was getting some massive SG vibes from this one, to the point I wonder if Kaneko actually did take a little inspiration from this show, where stuff like synchronization was required for their big final attack. That and maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which was directed by the same guy no less.
Coincidence? I think not!
Granted, it did make narrative sense, as Peach's voice did activate their transformation sequences. Don't know why they needed to go with a song that would be called too on the nose and lame for even a Precure ending theme. But eventually, through trial and error, they got it down, and now they just needed to add a dance number to it, which was... Hey, I'm only the messenger, don't cancel me. Yeah, needless to say, this was a goofy episode that does slip a little too much into cringe humor. It was kind of saved by the girls' reactions, or non-reactions, to this mad scientist's nonsense. I think it also helped that Titan Kusunogi has played Utonium with this overly serious tone that just adds to the surrealism of it all. Like legit, you can't imagine this stuff being said by Optimus Prime since he has played a few versions of him. Anyway, while they got their little routine down for the most part, the girls still needed to work on their final Gatai sequence. Obviously, after they've struggled so much already, they didn't get it out on the first few tries, so they took a little break to rethink things.
お菓子にしてよ
ビタミンを取るとストレスが緩和されて気分をリフレッシュできるんだ。
Nah, that's not how it goes. You're supposed to eat your dessert first. That's what that other magical girl anime told me was the right thing to do. From there, the prof showed them something actually really significant, a video of the city the girls were trying to protect. It was meant to remind them that they had a duty to fulfill, that should they ever slack off on it, chances were good him and the rest of their rogues gallery could speed demon things almost instantly. It was a simple sequence, but I actually did really like it, especially this near the end of the series, as it reinforces everything the girls have done for Tokyo City and the fight that still continues. With that, then after one last try, they managed to successfully launch their new finisher without considering where they were firing it. And while at first it seemed like it was going to hit their aforementioned rogues gallery, it instead got a bunch of... what did I say back with that dung beetle episode? As for why they didn't go with a cockroach, well, I think that's mostly just because Japan really hates those bugs. Yeah, I wish that was the case. Yeah, I honestly don't care how much you try to draw them cutesy, cockroaches will always be cockroaches, and these were especially bad, as the girls' beam had made the bugs fall in love with them.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, let's just move on to the next segment, please. The second half of the episode was essentially an epilogue to Mojo's failed romantic arc with Keen. Having just watched some kind of show about an old dude clearly going through a midlife crisis, Mojo tried to emulate the delinquent old man, which kinda sounds like an oxymoron to me. Anyway, he decided to start by reshaping himself with some exercise, so he did what many of us do and dig up our old exercise equipment. Yeah, that's the general reaction most people have when buying these oversized toys. This led to kind of predictable results, with Mojo getting crushed by his own machine. And somehow he got transported to a hospital where I guess they serve animals for free, otherwise I'm pretty sure this monkey can't qualify for health insurance, especially with how much he gets beat up by the girls. Speaking of whom, the mayor asked them to monitor their adversary in case he tried anything. And indeed, Mojo did try to make a few moves, though not on the sea or anything, but rather... Dude, I'm pretty sure that's less Chad Old Man and more Weinstein. To be fair, Nurse Nanako was a competent attendant who helped him with everything, including his business. Also, Miyako blushing here is low-key one of the best things ever. Anyway, the girls were called in by Mojo's doctor, who through x-rays had confirmed that the monkey had already healed up, likely due to his monster healing factor. But I'm guessing since this was something so medically abnormal, the hospital couldn't just forcibly release a patient after only 1 day of broken bone treatment, unless Mojo at least admitted that he was better. Thus, to prevent him from becoming a leech on the medical system, the girls offered to deal with it by becoming... I hate that I live in a world where a show like this can end up getting me both cancelled and thrown in jail at the same time. But yeah, they switched out with Nanako to bait him into admitting that he was better. Of course, this resulted in shenanigans with stuff like Momoko stealing the monkey's food, as well as giving him the Zack Ryder treatment.
Look out!
From there, he switched to the best girl, in terms of personality at least. As when it came time to help relieve Mojo, they went through a whole prop comedy routine, and then...
Done!
Last was Karko, who, when Mojo wanted to just watch some TV, she ended up giving him the Freddy vs. Jason treatment. Understandably, and after being reunited with his true nemesis, Mojo finally decided to drop the act and left the hospital. However, as he was leaving, he learned that Nanako was dating his physician. Yeah, as it turned out, she thankfully wasn't a furry like he originally thought, but rather just had a thing for monkey-faced dudes. Oh god, please don't tell me she has a bunch of posters of Ron Perlman in her room. That dude totally stole Optimus Primal from Gary Chalk. With that, the episode ended with Mojo once again failing at love. Well, look on the bright side, dude. At least you have your health. Oh, wait, never mind. This was weird. Just weird. And I don't really mean that in a bad or even really good way. Just weird. Not to say I wasn't entertained, because I certainly was. I appreciate good slapstick and effective character acting, but other times they just kind of got uncomfortably awkward. I might consider this to be the weakest of this last line of episodes, but if the worst we get is a monkey and his pee bottle, then I think we're doing okay. One thing I'll definitely praise this show for was that, for better and for worse, they went all in with some of these crazy-ass ideas. From the professor going beyond just plain old technobabble to Mojo and his new best friend. Hell, even when the jokes weren't working, I'd be lying if I said I didn't crack a little bit of a smirk. Not to mention, the jokes that did land, like most of the Powerpuff nurses slapstick, and Karako firing a beam through the center of the earth, did match turn this into a bit of an epic comedy, kind of reminded me of some of my favorites of the genre. And as long as it doesn't become a structural mess, then I do think this stuff is deserving of genuine praise. Yes, a slightly racist finisher born out of the power of love can make sense as long as you put the work into it. And while this was mostly just some cheap filler before the true final arc of the series, it was a fine enough calm before the storm, you could say. Definitely not one of the strongest of these final few episodes, but hey, at least this is one toy production that actually discourages medical fraud. The new year is upon us, and to kick it off, I don't think there's anything more appropriate than starting from the beginnings of a certain franchise. Yep, we totally planned this out, and it wasn't just some happy little happenstance that came from me mostly playing these reviews by ear. Okay, but seriously, we are planning on releasing part 1 of the OG Futari reviews this Saturday on New Year's Eve to help you make it to midnight, or, make you fall asleep beforehand. Regardless, until then though, farewell for now, my friends, and oh, hi, I guess you can't really take a joke all that well, can you?